I just want to explain the process that TUT requires for us to go through in developing a short learning program. It is quite a process, but let's see. There's a flow diagram here, a flow chart. I hope we can see it. Okay. Usually there should be an internal meeting within the department to approve the short learning program. But before we even get to that point, we need to have completed the process we're going through right now, which means we need to have a curriculum, which is what we are developing. And once we have a curriculum, based on that curriculum, I will develop a study guide, which is quite a detailed document. And then you can see here complete study guide, which is the next one. And there's what they call the F90 form for developing short learning programs, which will need to be completed. And then a complete business plan. This business plan will need to be developed by the people in TIES. So TIES is the Tswane Institute for Continuing Education. TIES is the business arm of TUT. Just like in some universities, you have the business arm that runs all their short learning programs. They have that in Stellenbosch, they have that in Johannesburg, University of UJ, University of Johannesburg, they have that in Wits, they have that in University of Pretoria. I think in UJ, they call it the resolution cycle or something like that. So Cape Town has got theirs, Stellenbosch has got theirs. For TUT, it's called TIES, Tswane Institute for Continuing Education. So they manage all the non-credit bearing short learning programs on behalf of TUT. So they do the marketing, they do the admin, they collect all the monies like the registration, they communicate with participants, they arrange, they collaborate with the TUT certification office to print out the certificate and send to the students. If we need to register the course with EXA or KISA, they manage the processes, the admin processes and the payments to get the registration number and all of those stuff. So that's what TIES do. But before we even get to TIES, they will ask us to go first to the discuss with the curriculum development practitioners in TUT. Now, those the curriculum development practitioner in charge of the Faculty of Engineering, the first thing he will ask is, where's the study guide, right? So he wants to see the study guide, to see the units or modules in the course, and to see that everything has complied with TUT requirements. So that's why we're getting these things ready before we start approaching them. So first, we need to have the curriculum. After the curriculum, I need to develop the study guide. I'll show you an example of what that means now. And apart from the study guide, sometimes they also ask, like with the last one we did, they want to see the PowerPoints. Like if we say there are 15 modules, where are the PowerPoints for those modules? They want to see. Now, once we are done with this first stage, we will start working on the PowerPoints. We don't need to have a detailed PowerPoint yet, but we can just have something that shows the individual modules that we can present to them when they ask for it. Because once they start asking, we don't want to now spend a lot of time gathering those things together. We want to have everything ready. So once the curriculum development practitioner is happy, he will send us back to TIES, and TIES will develop a detailed business plan. And there are processes they follow to develop their business plan. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so then that's the complete business plan that will be developed by TIES. And once we have the approval from the curriculum development practitioner, TIES has prepared the business plan. We have the study guide. We have all the modules ready, the PowerPoints, and we have the minutes of the meeting from the department approving the short learning program. Then all of those documents will go to the next stage. Okay. I think it will first go to the, okay now. So let's complete Senate application. So there's a form to apply for that short learning program to be approved by the University Senate. The Senate will have to go through a checklist to make sure we've gone through all the previous processes and they've been approved before they can approve. And then there's a form that we'll need to complete so that the short learning program will be registered on the ITS and also on the learning management system, okay? And all of that will be submitted to the curriculum development practitioner and the Department of Quality Promotions. So they will also have to check all the documents we've submitted to make sure it complies with the TUT policy. And once they approve, all of that will be tabled at the ESCO for the faculty ESCO, Executive Committee, okay? And then the submit SLP for approval to ESCO. And then once everything has been approved, it will go back to TIES, submit approved documents to TIES for administration. And then the short learning program will start. But before we even start, remember we're doing the short learning program to be offered online. So the online platform still needs to be built. That's another process. We need to build the online platform, populate all the content, structure it nicely, and then test it and make sure everything is fine before we say, okay, yes, we are ready. And of course, the other thing is we may need to register it outside, either with KISA or with EXA or both, like we did with the MEM course. So apart from approval from TUT, we may need approval from an external body as what do you call it? Continuous professional development offering course, like CPD for CPD points, so that those who do the course can use it for continuous professional development. They can get CPD points, and then eventually it can be used for recognition of prior learning by TUT, assuming someone wants to continue with a certificate or diploma, whatever. So they can, TUT might recognize that under recognition of prior learning. So this is the flow charts. And for the rest of the other documents, let me just see what I've got here. Okay. So the study guide, let me show you what that looks like. The study guide looks like this for short learning program. Name of the program, total number of hours, compiled by whoever, and it's quite a detailed document. Look at the contents, okay? The organizational components, the welcome, how to use the program, the staff involved, contact details, requirements, resources, recommendations, admission requirements. That's for those who are doing the course, what will be the requirements? What are prescribed materials, related program, literature, or other resources? Then code of conduct, learning components. What is the purpose of the program? The assessment criteria, assessment methods, criteria, assessment rules, appeal against results if there is a appeal, then certification requirements, assessment plan, then the program overview, then the program learning outcomes and assessment criteria, and then issues around assignments and projects. So you can see the different sections that I will need to complete. The sections, the purpose of the program, assessment method and criteria, assessment rules. So I'll have to fill in all of that, the marks, the weights, the final marks, the scope and description, the dates, then the detailed list of the modules, the learning outcomes, the hours of learning involved, and then the total at the end. Okay. Then all the learning outcomes and assessment criteria for each of the modules. So I'll have to write the unit 1, the title, the learning outcomes, assessment criteria, assessment methods, all of that I have to complete for all 10 or 15 units. So this is the study guide, and it's quite a detailed document. The curriculum development practitioner would want to see this before he can approve. Okay, then the next document I have, let's try to see. Okay, now the business plan. So Tice is going to develop this, not us, not me. Okay, short learning program proposal. The title of the program, prepared for, whoever, prepared by, and then you have the table of content, the executive summary, purpose of the short learning program, learning outcomes, admission criteria, course duration, the targeted industry or market, commercial viability, financial viability, then infrastructure and resources needed. We don't need much because it's an online program except internet and Wi-Fi. Staffing, scope of work, cost of resources, faculty departmental approval. So department and faculty has to approve. TIES also has to approve. And then they will do the executive summary, the purpose of the SLP, the learning outcomes, admission criteria. So all of that will need to be completed by TIES. And then they will do the financial viability, whatever. Is it viable? Does the market need it? How much will it cost for participants to attend? How much will they need to pay, etc., etc.? And they will use TUT's prescribed costs, whatever, to work that out. Okay, the scope of work overview. So the resources. So the TUT will develop this detailed, business plan for the course. Then after that, let's see what else. No, not this one. What other document do we have here? Let me see what else we have. Give me a moment. Let me just see. Okay, I think here I have just a short list of some of the documents that are required. So you will see here some of the lists. SLP document process, the study guide, the F90 form, the Senate approval template. Yeah, where is that template? Let me see if I have the template, Senate approval template here. Yeah, so this is the Senate approval template. I don't know if you can see it. Let me reshare this one. Okay, Senate approval template. So what is contained in that document? Let me expand this a bit. Okay, template for Senate approval of short learning program. So all the details, this one will be completed by TIES. It's part of the document they will submit. So you have the name of the short learning program, the faculty, departments, the name of the SLP, name of existing mainstream program, duration, commencement date, completion date, admission requirements, NQF level, number of credits, delivery site. And along with these documents, there are other documents that have to be completed and attached alongside for Senate to approve. You will see a list here: completed application form to register the SLP on ITS, approved business plan, which TIES will prepare, completed F90 form, and then the one from the curriculum development practitioner with the study guide. Then Department of Quality Promotions, their recommendation. So, okay. So all of these things here need to be complied to. SLP policy. What else? Let's see. Relevance of the program, recommendations. So you need to be recommended by a full departmental meeting. And there will be evidence of that by way of attaching the minutes of meeting and the date it was recommended. Then recommendation by the Curriculum Development Support Unit, CDS, and the proof of their recommendation. Okay, so we'll need to attach their curriculum design compliance templates and the date approved. Then recommendation by the Directorate of Quality Promotion, DQP, and the proof of that recommendation. Then recommendation by the Faculty Executive Committee and the proof by way of their minutes of meeting, then approval by the Senate after they've gone through the checklist based on that form I showed you. So these are all the processes that need to be gone through for it to get final approval. So we're still a long way off, but we are on the right track. This is the most difficult part. Once we are done with our part, we just submit. The rest is just to be submitting documents. So the documents part is what we are busy preparing right now, starting with the curriculum itself, which is the most important. From the curriculum, I'll develop the study guide. Once I have the study guide, we start working on PowerPoint. Ties will prepare the business plan, and then I'll engage with the curriculum development practitioners so that they can go through our study guide to make sure it's compliant. Once they approve, it goes to the Department of Quality Promotions. While all that is going on, I table it in the departmental meeting. We get the minutes of meeting approved, and then we send it also to the faculty. We get approval, and so on and so forth. So the rest is just approval once we have all the documents and groundwork done. Okay, any questions about the process before we go into the main issue for today? Somebody was asking, I think it was Laden, how much longer will the process take? That's why I needed to explain. A lot of people, lecturers, feel it's a lot of work to develop a short learning program. That's why you don't have too many short learning programs running in TUT, because they feel it's too much work. But we've done it once before. Yes, it's a lot of work, but if we want it done, someone has to do it. And thank you all for the sacrifice you make every week to come on here so we can lay the groundwork to do this course, to develop this curriculum. When we did the curriculum development for the MEM, it didn't take this long because we spent like 2 or 3 days, full days of workshop. Everybody is there. We spent 3 full days. Freddie was there as well. So it's not like 1 hour here, 1 hour there, 1 hour there, but we spent like full days, 2-3 days full, spent all the time, developed everything, got it done. But we don't have all that time. People are working, people are busy, so we had to do it in short bursts of time, 1 hour here, 1 hour here, 1 hour here, until we finally come up with the complete curriculum. So I don't know if there are any questions so far before we move on to the business of the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, Mary May, we can hear you speaking, but you're sounding very far away.
Yeah, I have issue with my.
Okay, I think come closer, do what you did now. I think yeah.
Yeah, I have issue with my speaker.
Oh,
so
we can hear you now. Yes, it's much louder now.
Yes, sir. I wanted to find out, is it realistic for us to set a timeline to at least finish with this one? I'm just personally concerned that we may not have a timeline and it triggered almost a laziness, but it removed the sense of urgency. If we have a timeline to ourselves to push and be done with this specific one, maybe we could, see into pushing a little bit more. Not like we are not doing it.
Yeah, 2 things can happen here. Number 1, we can fix a timeline and say we finish by this time. And that will mean that we may take more than an hour in the meeting in order to meet that timeline. So are we willing to do that so we can meet the timeline, or we just continue as is and finish whenever we finish? But first, let's see how much more do we need to do. I think there are just about 3 of those modules we need to work on to complete. Let me see, where is it now? Let me just quickly go online and see. We only have about 3 more modules. Let me share screen. We have just about 3 modules to be done with this particular process. We're done with module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're left with 11, 12, 13. Those 3, and then we're done. So if we meet like we've been doing, right, by end of November, we should be done with these 3. If we are like taking it one by one per week, or if we take it, let's say 2 per week. Today, we've already spent half of the time on explaining the process, the approval process. So we have like 30 minutes left. Let's say we do part of the first, we finish 1 today, and we finish the other 2 next week. Then we're done with this part. The next thing we need to face is now all of those who have selected which modules they want to work on. You just go and start working on your PowerPoints. Then we don't have to be meeting every week like this. We just meet once the PowerPoints are ready. We meet and look at the whole thing. And once we have that, we start the submission process. And once we start getting the approval, while all that process is going on, then you can be working on the detailed PowerPoints and all of that. Okay, so what do you think?
I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I would have preferred timeline, and then we see how many hours we need.
Yeah.
And maybe we will still need just an hour a day to reach, or we may increase it to more. That's me. I'm not too sure.
So can we set a deadline to say, let's finish this curriculum by end of November? How many more Wednesdays do we have in November? Let me see. We have today. We don't have much time today, but okay, Mladen sent apologies, and Stewart also sent apologies. So they will not be joining us. So how many more Wednesdays do we have in November? Today is 6th. We have 13th, 28th, and 27th. I think with those 3 Wednesdays left, we should be done because we only have 3 modules left. We should be done with the curriculum by end of November. Is that a reasonable timeline?
For me, any timeline works. I mean, other colleagues can
That
share
is,
their
if we continue as we're doing 1 hour, by end of this month, we should be done, end of November. In those 3 meetings, we should be done. Maybe in the next 2 will be done. Then the final one, we just go through and just put finishing touches. What do you think, colleagues?
Works for me.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Fine with me.
Okay, so let's aim to finish this curriculum by end of November so that we can move on to the next step, which is now working on the PowerPoints and the content. Any other question about the process I've just explained? Okay, you will let us know if you think of something else. Otherwise, I suggest we look into the spreadsheets, and then we see what to do for today. Let's at least try to finish one today. So we're left with 3 topics, 3 modules, 11, 12, 13. I wish we could take it up to 15, but let's do these 3 first. 15 is a good number, 15 modules. But let's finish up with this. So we have module 11, medical device and equipment maintenance. So let's look at the subtopics. Subtopics here we have access to test/calibration equipment, spares and accessories, maintenance management, corrective and preventive maintenance, in-house and outsource, risk management, management of service providers. Okay, for management of service providers, we've covered that elsewhere because we already have module 7, which is service provider management. So that covers that in detail. Here we can just mention, but not go into detail because it's already covered in detail elsewhere. So under this medical device and equipment maintenance, what can we add? Let me see if I can make this thing bigger. How do I increase the screen size? I'll make it 125% or 150%. Okay, great. So medical device and equipment maintenance, subtopics. Obviously, the first one would be preventive and corrective maintenance. We may not go into detail describing corrective maintenance and detail describing preventive maintenance because those are two big topics of their own. But we can just give a general overview of the different categories of maintenance: preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, what else? The different options available, which also includes, external service providers, in-house maintenance, the one done in-house, the one done by external service providers, etc., etc., and then the use of your maintenance management software, and so on. Okay, and the need for access to test and calibration equipment. Okay, so let's hear it. What are your contributions? Let me put the first one, preventive maintenance overview, corrective maintenance overview, access to test and calibration equipment, spares and accessories. Okay. Maintenance management softwares.
That's the repetition here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then options for maintenance. For maintenance, which includes in-house and outsource, put that in brackets. Then outsourced. Okay, risk management, management of service providers. We can just mention because it's discussed in detail elsewhere. Okay, so what else can we include here? Yes, colleagues.
I think for this one, it's quite straightforward. I think it's quite straightforward. I don't know what else we can add on to this.
Yeah.
Because, everything is basically covered. If you want to talk about maintenance management, it's covered in the options of maintenance. I think this is quite straightforward. Like,
Agreed. I think that more details will be provided when delivering the course itself. But
yes.
Okay, then under this risk management, what can we add? When we're talking about risk management here in brackets, what will it include?
In my view, it will include all the risk that that could come up from poor maintenance of equipment or no maintenance.
Examples.
Yes.
We're talking about electrical shocks from equipment that do not have their electrical safety test properly. We have electric shocks. We have failure, risk of failure when in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's directly on the equipment. And I think I want to mention
Yeah.
cost. I mean, if we downtime, if the equipment is not maintained properly, we could be having some downtime when they are faulty.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say high cost of corrective maintenance, if in the
Yes.
sense of if something is not serviced when due, it could lead to more serious fault.
Mm.
Just to think of those we have to think of risk.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. What else can I think of?
Okay, so what I have here under risk management, electrical shocks, risk of failure, issues with downtime, cost of corrective maintenance when equipment is not serviced when due. Okay, service on schedule.
Yes. Yes, when equipment is not
Service
serviced on schedule.
schedule. Okay, what else? Maintenance on equipment service schedule.
Is the risk of equipment's reliability could also not be, it could also lead to it not giving the right readings, and that's also a risk. I don't know how we're going to construct that.
How do we frame that?
Yeah.
Frame it.
Because the purpose of maintaining is to ensure that actually the equipments are reliable.
Mm,
If we are not carrying out the necessary preventive maintenance,
mm.
could actually mean that these equipment are basically not reliable, but we will not be able to know that.
That should be the risk of failure. Risk of failure. Okay. Issues with
Um,
downtime. Mm,
because sometimes this is like something subtle. With
yeah.
that, the reliability is not really the risk of, like,
Mhm.
it is a form of failure, but it's
Okay.
basically,
Let's add
yeah,
reliability of equipment.
or
And
maybe the compromising of the reliability of the equipment, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm,
also add the it will affect the equipment lifespan. I mean, if an
yeah,
equipment
Okay. Impact on equipment lifespan.
lifetime. Yeah.
Reduce
Um,
shock risk failure. Issues with downtime. Cost of Part on. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
mm,
Mr. Okai,
Yeah.
I think I would just add, can I call it a maintenance metrics or something,
mm,
which is basically to measure the effectiveness of your maintenance program within your
yes.
department.
Hmm?
And I think
Very
it will
good.
include a lot of those aspects.
Yeah. Very, very good point.
So I said matrix to measure equipment maintenance within the department.
Maybe equipment, maybe matrix to measure equipment maintenance effectiveness.
Okay. Okay.
Something like that. I don't know if,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because what we want to measure is how effective our equipment maintenance is.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Great. Okay.
Can I think of?
Anything else?
Okay, I want to find out, is there any way in this subtitle where we're going to be covering the how often the intervals,
Service
um
interval.
yeah, the service intervals, because remember,
Mm.
um the recommendation could actually be that, okay, maybe you need to service annually, but obviously as the equipment
Mm.
is aging, there are certain things
Yeah.
that you need to consider. So is there somewhere, is it incorporated somewhere, or should it be its own subtopic?
Okay. Although we are dealing with where is it now? Maintenance of equipment.
Mhm.
No, let's include it.
Yeah, it should actually be under
Yeah, it should
the
be here.
maintenance, because
Yes.
it different factors. The recommendation could actually mean that, but obviously if the equipment is
Okay.
not really
Service.
reliable,
So can we say service interval recommendation?
yeah, or determined, yeah, I don't know, yeah,
Service interval determination.
yes.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah, then you
Okay.
just list maybe the different factors that you would need to put into consideration when you are,
Mm.
when you're making all these adjustments. Because sometimes it could be that the guys are coming with like, okay, let's do these things biannually,
Mm.
but in actual fact, we're probably very far. You're looking at the costs and all those things. So yeah, maybe just mention a bit about the factors that could determine.
So if we rephrase that, we'll say factors that determine equipment service interval.
Yeah.
So that covers it. Factors that determine equipment service interval. Okay. Great. I think that should do for medical device and equipment maintenance.
Yeah.
That covers quite a bit.
Okay.
The objectives.
Mm.
Objectives. Objective 1. What would our first objective be?
Mm. Um.
Introduce participants to the principles of preventive maintenance management.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then the next one, objective 2 would be discuss the principles of corrective maintenance and risk management. Corrective maintenance and risk management in equipment maintenance.
I think it would be better if you put corrective maintenance and preventative maintenance together.
Together, okay.
Yeah,
That's the
those
principles of
two, let those, because
preventive.
those ones go concurrent. Because
Mm,
sometimes after you've done a corrective maintenance, then obviously then that follows, and vice
okay.
versa. So I think those two work hand in. They're like brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Mm.
So introduce participants to the principles of preventive and corrective maintenance
Y-
management.
yes, very
Okay.
good.
And then the next objective would be to discuss the principles of risk management. as it pertains to medical equipment maintenance?
Is it a principle when it comes to risk management? Is it
Sounds
not just to discuss the various risk managements as pertain to? It's just you basically just outlining the different type of risk, or no?
okay.
No.
Discuss the. There's a word we are looking for.
Yeah.
Discuss the blah 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 of risk management as it relates to medical equipment maintenance. So think
Because
of a
with
word.
risk management, you just basically like what who was it? Was it Freddie? Just outlined the different risk factors that are actually entailed.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Outline the various risk factors that relate to medical equipment maintenance.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, outline the various risk factors that pertain to uh, medical equipment maintenance. Let's see. Because we want to add the word management.
Yeah.
Outline the various risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance and how to manage them. Help me here, guys. Outline various risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance. I want to add the word management somewhere of those risks.
Yeah.
Trying to add the word management because we want to manage those risks, not just outline them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And mitigating
Oh,
solution.
Outline various risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance and how to mitigate.
manage
And how to
yeah.
mitigate, yes.
Or how to manage
Other
them.
risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance and
But you can always say and how to manage them. Okay, but
Yeah, also.
mitigating also mitigate. Yeah.
so
Since
what
you
we've
wanted.
said here is outline various risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance and how to mitigate them.
Yeah, which is the same thing actually.
Yeah.
Mm, but we'll fine tune it later.
Yes.
I'm sure the English will come back.
We mitigate against them. Do we mitigate them or mitigate
Against them sounds much better.
them?
I can't comment, I'm not sure.
Okay.
English will come.
Mitigate. How to mitigate them? Because the word editor is correcting me, says how to mitigate them.
Mm.
Okay, and even this first one, it says it should be introduce participants to preventive and corrective maintenance management principles. Then the second one, outline various risk factors that pertain to medical equipment maintenance and how to mitigate them.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
great. So those two sound good enough. Now let's go to the learning outcomes. On completion of this module,
Um,
Participants will have the knowledge to implement effective, no.
Quickly go back to
Objectives,
the subtitles.
subtitles, subtopics, yeah.
I mean subtopics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Uh, so I see that your objectives are only supposed to be two.
Yeah, because we
Oh,
are mostly talking about preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, and risk management.
okay.
Yeah, that's the main core of this topic.
Okay.
So
That's
under
fine.
that, we have metrics to measure equipment maintenance effectiveness,
Mm-hmm.
factors that determine equipment service interval.
Mm-hmm.
Then the issue of risk management, which includes electric shock, risk of failure, reliability of equipment, issues with downtime, cost of corrective maintenance when equipment is not. So everything revolves around preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, and management of risks associated with maintenance.
Okay.
And that's been covered in the two objectives. The first one covers preventive and corrective maintenance management principles. Objective 2 covers the issue of the risks, okay, and
Yeah.
how to mitigate them.
Yeah. No, it makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back now. Yeah.
Then for our learning outcome, we can say that on completion of this module, participants will have the knowledge to implement effective uh,
Preventative and corrective maintenance schedules.
will know how to implement effective preventive and corrective maintenance, or we
Or
call
maybe let's
it
say management program.
maintenance management programs, corrective maintenance.
Management. Yeah. Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the second learning outcome will be no. Okay. So second
Mhm.
learning outcome 2
Is it on that box or is
oh,
it me?
what have I done? Sorry. It's very easy to make mistakes in this thing. I jumped to a different box. Okay. Okay. Learning outcome 2. Yeah. So what is our second learning outcome?
Mhm.
Participants will know how to manage risks associated with preventive and corrective maintenance management.
Yep.
Yes.
So how to risk associated with preventive and corrective maintenance management. Okay, great. Done. So the next thing would be, let's see. Okay, who will be the leads for this topic?
Mr. Okai
Yes.
will be the lead.
Well, okay, my name is there. Anybody else want to take part of it?
Can also take part.
You can include me there, Mr. Okai.
Okay.
I can also take part. Huh?
Okay. Abeya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let's talk about, yeah?
I wanted to say I can't tell how many I have had my name yet, but this one also look interesting for me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's add your name. Yeah, we can always do different aspects of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Or it can even be the same aspect, but from different perspectives.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then teaching and learning activity. This is just copy and paste. Let's see. Let me copy from somewhere. So for teaching and learning activities, we'll have, okay, I need to format this thing. Just a moment. Swapping. Okay. Lectures, okay, let me also do this. Alignment, top. Alignment, top. Alignment. I'm just aligning. Okay, so lectures are conducted using online video materials, mandatory reading and supplementary materials. There should be PowerPoint somewhere. Lectures are conducted using PowerPoint, presentation, online video material, mandatory reading and supplementary material, pre-test, and pre-tests, quiz, and assignments. Okay. So PowerPoint, online video material, mandatory reading, supplementary material, pre-test, quiz, assignments.
Is it only one? Is it not supposed to be assignments?
The
It's only one
assignment
of
may just be one assignment for that topic, apart from the quiz and the pre-tests.
okay.
So we have like we have your quiz, we have your tests, then assignment. So it could just be one assignment for that topic, in addition to the pre-test and the quiz. So a pre-test is like, before you even start that topic, we want to gauge your knowledge.
Yeah.
Using multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
And then after you've gone through the PowerPoint, online video material, mandatory reading, supplementary material, we can now give you an online test, which could be multiple choice, could be true or false question, could be matching answer question. Then we can give you an assignment also, apart from that. So I think one assignment should be sufficient for that topic, in addition to other assessments, like your pre-test and the quiz. Is that clear? Sure. Great. So in terms of duration, I think this may also take no less than 3 hours. Could even be more, but we can leave it at 3 hours for now. Yeah. Actually, it should be more than 3 hours.
Yes.
Because if
Very
you look
much.
at the content alone by itself can easily cover 3 hours. And then if you add the online video material, mandatory reading, supplementary material, the test, the quiz, the assignment, and they need enough time to do that, we can add maybe another 1.5 to 2 hours. Right?
Yeah.
So we can make this 4.5 hours. Because you don't want to rush participants, you want to give them enough time to go through the material and then to do the assessments, assignments, and quiz. And sometimes with those assignments, we give them more than one attempt. Maybe they do the first attempt, they are not quite happy with the marks, they want to repeat again. So we can leave it at 4.5 hours for now. If there's need to adjust later, we can do that. Great. I think we have done enough for today. Any question or comments, addition? I can color this green to say this one is done. Where is the border now? I want to color this border. Fill color. Make it green. No, not this green. Lighter green, not this one. Okay, yeah. So there we go. I've colored in green. So next time we meet, we'll look at patient safety and then electrical hazard management.
Okay.
Okay. Any question or comments before we go?
Is it as hot as it is this side?
Yeah.
Which side?
It's also
You
hot.
don't know
this
where I
side.
am.
Yeah.
Namibia.
What's the temperature
Namibia.
where
Oh,
you are?
okay.
I know Namibia, you have a desert. But here we get up to 30 degrees, 33 degrees.
I don't know. I've not
Yeah.
checked.
But Namibia has a desert, so it's expected to be a little hotter there, right?
Yes. And I can assume she's closer to the desert.
No.
Or the desert is closer to her.
Are you closer to the ocean?
No.
Or they are closer to you?
No. What's the difference?
There is a difference.
No. Yeah, no, it's quite hot here, but it's actually raining a bit. And it's a bit cloudy these days, so it's a bit better. But it's not better because it's hot. The clouds make it hot, so yeah.
Okay.
Nah, I never complain. I like it hot. So
No, me, I prefer the cold, really.
nah, I prefer the
I
hot.
don't function well in heat.
Yeah.
Complete opposite
No.
with me. I don't function well with cold. I prefer
No,
the
you see,
heat.
when it's cold, I can make a hot